Good evening and welcome to Eagle Eye News at 6.
Eagle Eye TV has done a great job.
And welcome to Eagle Eye News at 6.
We are just having a great time here in Auburn, Alabama. The party is not over yet.
Eagle Eye TV, Auburn's news leader.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening and welcome to Eagle Eye News at 6. My name is Lucas Hazelrig.
And I am Sophie Porter. Thank you for joining us.
Tragic news coming out of Tallahassee today as a shooting this morning left 5 people injured and 2 people dead at Florida State University. The 2 deceased victims have not been identified but have been reported not to be students. According to law enforcement, a suspect has been taken into custody. The shooter has been identified as 20-year-old Phoenix Eichner. Eichner is the son of a Leon County Sheriff's deputy, and a gun owned by his mother, the sheriff's deputy, was found at the scene. The incident took place in the area of the student union. The university has placed a lockdown until further instructions from authorities arrive. One student gives her testimony about what happened during the shooting.
It was just chaos. Everyone was like, there's like a shooter and stuff. And so like these guys started like pressing the elevator button to have elevators come up and like put tables in the walkway to like block anyone from getting on the elevator. And then like some other guys like closed the doors to the 5th floor and then put tables and stuff there. We actually were by the windows. So like at the windows we saw cops running, students running. It was just like complete chaos. Everyone was like running all over the place. And then we saw like a gurney, and then like the gurney came back and the guy had his arm cut off, and I think like he was bleeding and like he had like bandages and stuff. And so like that was really hard to see.
Last Tuesday night, the 2025 Greek Sing took place in Neville Arena, where the AU sorority dance teams that choreographed all semester long competed in the dance night of their lives. Albert Osorio has more on the story.
It was the biggest Greek event this semester, the 2025 Greek Sing. The sororities packed Neville Arena to cheer on their dance teams to victory. There were some creative themes shown this year by the sororities, such as the Oompa Loompas from the Chocolate Factory, the famed villain Joker, a big tour bus, and definitely a personal favorite. The sorority dance teams did a fantastic job this year with their routines, but Alpha Delta Pi came up on top and won the event. After the event, Jasmine Nago, a member of the AU Panhellenic Council, spoke about the event and its impact.
Greek Sing is such an amazing philanthropy event put on by the Auburn Panhellenic community. It is a way that brings together all 18 sororities to help benefit Habitat for Humanity. It is so amazing to see our amazing little community impact such an important philanthropy, and I hope to continue this tradition.
For Eagle Eye TV, I'm Albert Osorio.
Last Saturday, Auburn students danced the night away on Sanford Lawn for UPC's 4th annual Magnolia Ball. The event gives students across the university a chance to put on their best formal wear and enjoy a night of elegance, fun, and school spirit regardless of their university affiliation. Eagle Eye reporter Caroline Burrows brings us the story of that magical evening.
Here on Sanford Lawn, Auburn students got ready to dance. Auburn University's Program Council Tiger Knights Committee hosted its 4th annual Magnolia Ball.
Auburn University students gathered on Sanford Lawn to enjoy UPC's Magnolia Ball. Hosted on Saturday, April 12th from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m., the Magnolia Ball is a free university-wide formal. No matter their organizational affiliation, all students were invited to attend. Students were encouraged to dress in their best semi-formal attire and come with a date, friends, or just solo. Attendees were able to listen to music from a live DJ, hit the dance floor with their peers, enjoy a delicious catered meal, and commemorate the night with several photo opportunities. Student Savannah Anderson, Director of Special Events, tells us more.
So we've actually been having Magnolia Ball for 4 years. Since it's a 4th annual one. It started off in the Auburn Hotel, and for the last 3 years we've had it here on Sanford Lawn, so it was a really big improvement there. With Magnolia Ball, we have kind of a catered dinner. Tonight we have chicken fingers, sliders, and macaroni and cheese, as well as a DJ or a live band sometimes. And we just try to create an environment for students to come and enjoy, create that kind of formal aspect for students who aren't in Greek life or aren't in other organizations that might have a formal like that. It's open to all Auburn students, whether it be grad students, faculty. If you have an Auburn ID, you're more than welcome to join us. And it's a great alcohol alternative for a Saturday night where we can just all come, have a good time, enjoy the band, and hang out together and be part of that Auburn family that some people don't have here at Auburn.
The Magnolia Ball was hosted by the Tiger Knights Committee, whose goal is to curate fun experiences for students on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights through late-night alcohol alternative programming.
And for Eagle Eye TV, I'm Caroline Burrows.
Last Tuesday, April 8th, distribution of the 128th edition of Auburn's yearbook, The Glomerata, began throughout campus, with locations on Haley Concourse, the Recreation and Wellness Center, Gin Concourse, the Edge Dining Hall, and Ralph Brown Drawn Library. Distribution closed early Tuesday due to demand, and the Glomerata team held 2,880 books to distribute the following day. Distribution ultimately concluded Wednesday, April 9th, after all 9,000 books had been handed out. Books were free to all Auburn students and were distributed on first-come, first-served basis, featuring a little over 400 pages to highlight the past year at Auburn University. The book's cover was designed by Auburn student Emma Crawford. Glomerata member Sam Northcutt talked to us about why the Glom is important for Auburn.
It's so important for Auburn because it's so unique to us. There's only a few universities that do this. And then it's also like it's created by the students for the students. And it's just all about y'all and all about Auburn. And it's
Last Thursday, the College Democrats, College Republicans, and the Libertarian Mises Society held the great debate once again in the Haley Center, and a great debate it was. The representatives of each political faction discussed divisive subjects such as Donald Trump's tariff and immigration policies. The night saw Democrats and Republicans duking it out, with the Mises Society siding with one or the other, sometimes opting for their own unique position as well. Towards the end of the moderator, he turned to those in attendance for questions, and the audience was political science professor Dr. Paul Harris, who brought his global politics class with him to the debate. We went to speak with the representative of each party and asked them what their thoughts on the debate were and what goals they had going in.
On the surface, it might seem kind of unstable, and there's a lot of questioning surrounding this administration right now. And I just kind of wanted to subside some of those fears and really just clarify what we're about as a party and, supporting our stance on immigration, supporting things like the Doge budget cuts and things of that nature. This time, I believe that I'm coming at this with almost a negative stance because it's always easy to criticize the current administration so much more. And I noticed that. I feel like there's a pressure for me to almost play more of a defensive role than an offensive role.
They are not Republicans. They are forming a new form of party under Donald Trump. They have left my parents themselves, who are staunch conservatives, behind, and I think that is horrendous. And the fact that the college Republicans sat up on the stage and defended this platform, I find to be ridiculous. I just wanted to communicate the fact that they continue to lie and lie and lie and lie and lie about these things, and they get away with it because no one explains to them why this is not true.
The government is ripping you off using the Federal Reserve to counterfeit your money, decrease your purchasing power, and inflate it beyond comprehension. And that's the main problem that we have in this country. It doesn't matter who's in charge. This debate this year, weirdly enough, there's a lot more agreement than there was before last year. I think it's been like the same way every year it has been that I've been doing this. Republicans are going to attack Democrats, Democrats are going to attack Republicans, and then both parties are confused about whatever we say.
Stay tuned after the break for a weather forecast from the loveliest village on the plains from Eagle Eye's Albert Osorio. You're watching Eagle Eye News at 6, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Eagle Eye News at 6. My name is Albert Osorio, here with your weather outlook for this week on the plains. It was mostly clear blue skies this week, with some clouds on Monday and Tuesday. The highs were up to around 82 degrees and the lows were down to 68 degrees. It was a good week for students to have fun in the sun and play some frisbee or tan outside. This Easter weekend will receive some more clouds, but no possible chance of rain thus far. The highs will be around 83 degrees, while the lows will be around 57 degrees. It will be a good weekend for Easter egg hunting and other fun activities with family and friends. That's all I have for your weather for this week. When we come back, you'll hear more from Lucas and Sophie regarding a detained Columbia student, funds from the Harvard being withheld, and the Federal Reserve Chairman speaking about Donald Trump's tariffs. From Eagle Eye TV, I'm Albert Osorio. We'll be right back.
A Columbia graduate student living in Vermont has been detained under President Trump's immigration policy. On Monday, the Palestinian man was detained at an immigration office. A state senator who saw the incident unfold said the man was asked to go to the office for a citizenship interview, but that was a trap to detain him. Laura Ullman has more.
He was kidnapped. He was kidnapped.
It was a few weeks ago when Senator White said she heard from her constituent, Mozen Makdawi. White says he asked her to come to his citizenship interview with federal authorities.
I was nervous because to me, with what we've experienced nationally now with folks being taken, I thought that this was potentially a honeypot or a trap.
White says she went to a Colchester immigration office with Makdawi, his lawyer, and a friend. When they arrived, they saw cars White called suspicious, idling and circling the building.
Well, that was the first, I would say, true, waving red flag. This is a setup.
At noon, she got a text. Makdawi was in handcuffs and being escorted from the building.
I was just shaking.
White says she believes Makdawi was detained because of his involvement with anti-Israel protests at Columbia University. Makdawi is a graduate student there. Vermont's congressional delegation is speaking out against the arrest.
I do not believe we should be deporting people who are here legally just because the president doesn't like what they say.
Mozen Makdawi has a green card and has been living in the U.S. for about a decade. A federal judge has ordered he should not be removed from the country, and as his legal proceedings play out. Additionally, the Trump administration has defied a Supreme Court ruling stating that Abrego Garcia should return to the United States after being deported to El Salvador.
Harvard is losing more government funding. The Department of Homeland Security announced the cancellation of 2 grants worth more than $2.7 million. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem also wrote a scathing letter demanding records of international students' illegal activities. Meanwhile, Harvard researchers say they may have to lay off workers and euthanize research animals because of the funding freeze. Earlier Wednesday, the Internal Revenue Service began making plans to rescind Harvard's tax-exempt status. 2 sources familiar with the matter say a final decision on the university's tax status is expected soon. The Trump administration has already blocked more than $2 billion in funding. The institution is pushing back, citing the constitutional right of private universities to determine their own practices. President Trump in recent days raised the idea of punishing Harvard for not complying with what the administration has sought to portray as a campaign to fight against anti-Semitism.
Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell spoke at an event hosted by Economic Club of Chicago on Wednesday and gave his starkest warning yet on the potential economic consequences of President Donald Trump's tariffs. As he was speaking, U.S. stocks tumbled. The Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P 500 all fell. Sherelle Hubbard has more on remarks from the chairman and the latest on consumer confidence.
A new warning from Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell as he called the Trump administration's tariffs unprecedented in modern history, saying their effects remain highly uncertain.
The level of tariff increases announced so far is significantly larger than anticipated, and the same is likely to be true of the economic effects, which will include higher inflation and slower growth.
With investors feeling the effects of Trump's tariffs daily, Wall Street reacted to Powell's words almost instantaneously, sending stocks tumbling. Businesses and consumers are on edge.
Well, that's just it. I mean, we don't know. Every day it's something different, so it's either on or it's off or it's this or it's that.
The uncertainty is pronounced and it is profound in the state of California.
California Governor Gavin Newsom and State Attorney General announced Wednesday they are suing to try to stop the tariffs, saying the president does not have the authority to impose them. Meantime, the Fed is responsible for promoting full employment and helping keep inflation in check, but Chairman Powell says tariffs have the potential to threaten both.
Unemployment is likely to go up as the economy slows in all likelihood, and inflation is likely to go up as tariffs find their way, and some part of those tariffs come to be paid by the public.
I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
After we come back, Caroline Burrows will fill you in on all the entertainment news you could ever need. You're watching Eagle Eye News at 6. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Eagle Eye News. I'm Caroline Burrows, here to give you an update on the world of entertainment. Aerospace company Blue Origin sent its New Shepard rocket hurtling out of Earth's atmosphere on Monday, its 11th such mission to date. On board, a celebrity-studded crew of 6, featuring pop star Katy Perry and TV personality Gayle King. But that's not the only reason today's spaceflight was unique. Laura Agri reports.
Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket launched off its pad in Van Horn, Texas this morning. Liftoff. In a capsule atop the fiery send-off, the first all-female flight crew in space in over 60 years. Yes. Among them, pop star Katy Perry, journalist and Oprah bestie Gayle King, movie producer Carrie Anna Flynn, Amanda Nguyen, a women's rights advocate and the first Vietnamese woman to fly in space, Aisha Bo, a former NASA rocket scientist and entrepreneur, and Lauren Sanchez, who organized the flight and is also engaged to Blue Origin's founder, Amazon billionaire Jeff Bezos. The New Shepard's capsule only 12.5 feet wide. Perry shared a look inside on her Instagram ahead of the launch.
Here I am. Seat number 2.
Their suborbital flight, reaching just beyond 62 miles above Earth, lasted only a few minutes. But the experience and memories will last much longer.
You look at it and you're like, we're all in this together. All these things that divide us, but we're not.
Perry carried a small daisy, honoring her daughter's name, but also as a symbol of those confronting their fears.
They go through cement, they go through cracks, they go through walls. They are resilient.
Gayle King was one of them, challenging her own crippling fear of flying.
I'm so proud of me right now. I still can't believe it.
Of the more than 700 people who've traveled to space, only about 15% have been women.
It's about making space for future women and taking up space and belonging.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
A brief scare occurred at the Coachella Valley Music Festival in Palm Springs, California. Police arrested a man on Saturday who allegedly claimed he would bomb the event. The arrest unnerved festival goers and people who live near the festival. Maria Garcia spoke with some residents and has more.
There is a lot of children here, and obviously there's a park right next to where we live, and it was just concerning because we never see this around this type of neighborhood.
Lisbeth Vitasio, resident of the area, was worried to see multiple police cars in her neighborhood.
We were doing an Easter hunt this morning, and we just walked back in from the Easter hunt, and then we look out the window and we just see cop vehicles taped, and we weren't sure what was going on, but that was a little scary for the kids to be around.
Vitasio says she was planning on having her baby shower, but had to change her schedule around.
We were planning a baby shower, so it was a little concerning to figure out what we were going to do, but we figured it out.
Just before 1 this afternoon, deputies responded to the Agua Caliente Casino in Cathedral City after security there reported that a man driving a Tesla claimed he would be responsible for a mass attack at Coachella Fest.
An allied agency contacted us to let us know that there was a vehicle that they were looking for in relationship to a case that they were working regarding possible threats.
Using DMV records, deputies quickly identified the suspect and his vehicle and tracked him down at South Calle El Segundo and Saturnino Road in Palm Springs.
Our officers ultimately found this car using flock technology and the personal observations. We're able to bring it over to here, get it stopped.
The suspect was taken into custody, says Andy Mills, police chief for the Palm Springs Police Department.
Got a man in custody, detained, while the other agency is continuing to work their part of the investigation. As a result, we brought one of our canine bomb dogs over here to sniff the car, and the dog alerted on the car.
The Riverside County Sheriff's Bomb Squad found no explosives, weapons, or bomb-making materials inside the vehicle. Anyone with information is encouraged to contact the Cathedral City Police Department. Reporting in Palm Springs, Maria Garcia, News Channel 3.
We're about out of time in the entertainment segment, but before we head back to the desk, I have one more story to share. Coming up in today's Take a Look at This, a volunteer human chain takes the pain out of moving, and glass sculpture-like squid is caught on camera for the first time ever. Let's take a look.
From a squirrel with snow-white hair to a double rainbow up there, today we'd like to share the rare. Let's start with moving wares using a community that cares. It's no secret that moving, what's the word? Sucks. So when a beloved bookstore in Michigan needed to move their inventory to a new location, they thought outside the box. Books, putting out an all-call for help to the town of Chelsea. Roughly 300 Samaritans showed up and formed a pair of human chains, moving all 9,100 of serendipity books books by hand to their new location in under 2 hours. The store said they were overwhelmed by their benevolent book brigade and are happy the town could have a literal hand in their newest chapter. This next one isn't just rare, it's full-on never-before-seen. Stunning video shared by the Schmidt Ocean Institute shows the first known footage of the elusive colossal squid in the wild. Looking like a gliding glass sculpture, this majestic mollusk can grow up to 23 feet long and weigh more than half a ton. It was first identified 100 years ago, but until now, it's never been captured on camera in its natural environment. Another rare sight is this squirrel dressed in white. Video of a rare albino squirrel chilling in a tree at a South Dakota golf course was recently shared by Sioux Falls Parks and Rec. The department asked its followers for nutty name suggestions, and while Frosty, Blanco, and Casper were early contenders, they ended up going with Q-Tip. Finally, we leave you with a zen-like look at a rare double rainbow caught shimmering and glimmering over a Rhode Island bridge at dusk. And while there were likely no pots of gold to be found at either end, it doesn't make this colorful double take any less priceless. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Thank you, Caroline, for keeping us updated. Starting off today's quick hits, we have an Auburn basketball update. Chad Baker-Mazara announced today he will be entering the transfer portal. Mazara averaged 9.5 points for the Tigers en route to their second Final Four in program history.
Eric and Lyle Menendez, known for the 1989 murders of their parents, are set for a hearing beginning today to determine if they will be eligible for a reduced sentence and path to parole. The brothers have re-entered the public eye after a Netflix documentary in 2024 where the brothers spoke out for the first time in nearly 30 years.
This weekend will be the first 41st edition of WrestleMania. The two-day wrestling extravaganza will be held in Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas and will feature John Cena taking on WWE Champion Cody Rhodes in the main event after Cena turned heel for the first time in his career earlier this year. Unfortunately, that's all we have for you tonight, but for more Auburn news, head over to our website, eagleeyeauburn.com, and check out our social media pages. My name is Lucas Hazelrig.
And I'm Sophie Porter. Thank you for watching, and War Eagle.